I'm ready when you are. Yep.
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Town Planning Board to order. Good evening, everybody. My name is James Stoney. Thank you for having me. Honored to serve as Chair of the Mendon Planning Board. This is my first full position in Mendon. I appreciate the trust placed in me by the supervisor of the town board, the people of Mendon. And with that, I'd like to see if anybody has a motion to approve the minutes from the January 7, 2025 planning board meetings. Thank you. Does anybody second it? Thank you. I wasn't there, so I'm going to abstain, but everybody votes. Any nays? Okay, so moved. Thank you. Our second order of business is
I'll just jump in there. So did we actually vote on that? So typically we would say all in favor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All in favor? Okay,
All right, there you go.
cool. Thank you. Our first agenda item is the Bonzo subdivision. I'd like to see if anybody has a motion to open a public hearing. I don't think you need the motion. Okay, I'd like to open a public hearing.
Do we need the motion?
Does anybody in the audience have anything that they would like to say about the Bonzo subdivision? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Okay,
Leave it open.
and now for board discussion. On the, let's see.
So at this point, you may want to ask the applicant if they want to come up and present, talk about their project at all, and then the board could ask them any questions if they have any.
Is Mr. Bonzo or Mrs. Bonzo here? Yes, sir. Hi, good evening. Hi. Would you like to offer any information or say anything about your subdivision?
I can explain it if you'd like. Essentially, there's currently have 20.8 acres. And the objective is to divide that in half essentially.
You can say if you want.
That's okay. It's more that I need, and, you know, I'm kind of thinking my daughters are actually working for some places that expand and build. And there's not a lot of options that happen nearby. Plus, they went through the school district here and they like this area. You know,
For sure. I had a question about the barn.
Yeah.
That will be on the other plat, so it's like, right now it's an accessory unit, and we want to make sure that, if we don't create an illegal plat by doing the subdivision. Can you tell me what you might be using the barn for, will pertain to agricultural use?
I suspect no. I'm not sure what she will want to do with it if we got it applied.
But currently, yes, sir.
Yeah, currently it's there.
Is that, that sounds to me very much like it would, be okay under 260 15B 243.
So long as it maintains the use.
Yeah.
Of ag.
What is the current use of the property? Of lot 2 of the proposed lot?
Right now, I just mow it. I did have a small farm down there. I had a little house business. Industry, we had a couple of animals there, and like I haven't had in a couple of years. So now it's just maintenance. One of the reasons why I don't need it. I'm just burning fuel down there.
So you don't plan on selling lot 2 off, like subdividing and selling it? You're just,
No, not unless something falls through with my daughter. You never know.
So your plan sounds like maybe at some point, maybe a house might be built there.
I suspect, yeah. She may want to build a house. Maybe she'll want to convert the barn potentially into a home. It's a relatively new barn, so it's got good foundational, you know, and concrete can keep.
what is the current use of the barn now? What do you store?
Storage, tractors, mostly, yeah. The 3 tractors in there and some big equipment. Have other property in Finger Lakes. Don't have a barn down there, fell down, I just built a brand new barn down there, but I'm storing my equipment, transferring it down there.
So at this point, it's gonna stay exactly the same. With a
Exactly
line,
the same.
with a line down the middle. staying the
That's it.
pieces.
And I told her that if she wants to develop it, then she's gonna have to go through, you know, the process with you guys as far as doing the comprehensive engineering plan. Environmental study, all that sort of stuff. Water. Right now I have water down there from the house. you know, update that. It should build, of course, real well. Anywhere of that.
What is the current, like, in this wire fence area? What, is there anything in that? Is this just,
Nothing, that's pasture, just pasture, it's empty
Okay.
pasture, yeah. There's two pastures, so you could, you know, you could rotate the animals so they didn't deplete.
and this is all pasture too?
No, that's all swamp,
Okay. that's
really,
awesome.
yeah, so wetland, this is kind of just all cattails and through here, cattails and through here, so these areas would be your wetland areas.
Okay.
Right here, and then this one's on this property that I maintain, so she would have a little bit of the wetlands. This is timber, mostly black locust through here, there's some timbers. Back in through here, but nothing, it's all pretty much scrub trees and dead ash, honestly.
So the land from south of this driveway, this is where your hops were,
Yeah, they were right here.
and you don't do that anymore?
They're still there, I told her she can keep doing it if she wants to, but it's more, there's no money in it, it's more of a hobby, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if that was like income producing for you.
It used to be,
Okay.
yeah, well, actually, I invented a machine that harvests them. I
Okay.
use it as my test plot there. And I sold that business to Air Seed like 5 or 6 years ago. So I left the poles and I left their crops because the risings come back every year. Do it, plus they create a nice green wall here.
I think where you've chosen to subdivide makes perfect sense. It's along the areas where you're not gonna be able to build anyway.
Right?
You've got road frontage on both lots, you know, which makes perfect sense. And pretty much you've isolated the only real buildable areas, so I think it's very logical.
That's kind of what I thought. It's a beautiful pasture, green space down there, I think. From a soil perspective, it's all sandy loam, good drainage, it's really, it's never had a problem with standing water.
I met with, our code enforcement officer today, and he did tell me, in his opinion, the land is buildable and, free of hazard in order to subdivide, but there just needs to be a site plan, approval to be deemed to build on.
Does anybody else have any other questions? So I wanted to know, maybe the engineer could speak to this. I heard you, I think I heard you say that the water was tied into the house.
Yeah, it is currently, although that, you know, she knows that's temporary. As long as my daughter, someone else, something else happens with it, that'll be disconnected.
You have a hydrant out there somewhere?
No, I've got a buried line
Okay.
from the house.
Yeah.
1 inch. It's just a 1 inch line from, it's treated water from my house, from my well. Buried 6 feet
Going to,
to the barn.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any public health limitations or anything like that when you have private water going to two separate facilities like that.
Off the top of my head, like if you were tied into the public water supply, that would be different. You would be creating a connection across lots. In terms of a private well, not off the top of my head, I think it would be worthwhile noting somewhere on here, just an approximate location of it might be useful. Just if it's never developed, you sell the house, that someone knows, oh, there's a water service running here.
Yeah.
That's standard. We
Don't
have
slam into
the
it.
whole town where there's not a water main, public water. Well, water supplies the house and the outlet.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It
not
will be
across
disconnected
lots.
though, so even if, I mean, it's 1 inch pack, so it's not gonna damage the equipment, it's not gonna really.
in terms of Department of Health regulations, off the top of my head, I don't believe it violates anything because it's not tied into a public water supply. If there were water main run down the road and were tied to public water supply, that would change. That would be dealt with. Second.
Corey's notes, it does say in our letter that the newly created lot would require private water supply, as there is no public water supply available at the road.
We
Go to that.
we do well, if someone wants to develop, right?
That's- yeah.
That's the interpretation I got from that.
Yes.
So we may want to put a bow on that in some way here, because when you split the land up, now you're gonna have, right now, it has water coming from the other property.
That water will be disconnected because they.
Right, that's
except for my-
easily
Except for my
rectified.
daughter, right? That's- Anyone else, if it doesn't go to my daughter, I'm not paying someone else's water, sure, so I'll shut myself off.
And my thought is, I don't know if it's, we would at least need easements, like, I don't know offhand whether that would be permissible.
For the subdivision or for him to sell it afterwards?
Share.
To share off a well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly without easements, that would not be great.
For right now, though, he's just subdividing and there is no. There's no one living there, it's not a thing, this sounds like a future problem that if he does so choose, we can work through later, is that fair to say?
Is a note sufficient on the plan stating that there's water service if the other plat or the other property were to be developed, it would have the exact regulations for sharing a private water service versus requiring individual well.
The chief Jones over here should go, well,
Absolutely, well, they already know that, I already told her. Let's do- disconnect.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I think a note is a good idea, though, just as a reminder for even the next person who's preparing the site run. It's a reminder that it is there and what's it.
right, that would be the only tricky part would be, I mean, once you pull water out of the ground, if you own the water, but if you're crossing the lot line, that would be the only questionable thing. I don't see a problem. It's no different than if I were to run a line to my neighbor underground with my water, so he could water his garden.
Connecting the hose that I was.
Right.
Corey's letter,
Probably a non-issue, but a notation might be a good idea.
Corey's letter, did he say anything about it necessarily being a current code issue? Or was he just mentioning?
He just mentions that, it would require a private water supply.
I think what you're saying is we have public water supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
We bring these things up not to be a pain to you, but so it does something doesn't fall up in your face. down the
Sure,
road.
yeah, I can understand. Anything else I can, any other questions I can answer?
So,
Questions like that. Okay.
so we have the environmental, assessment, probably go through real quick, and this is, it'll be very low impact, but I gotta ask some questions, so please say yes or no. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use zoning regulation? No, I don't think so. Yeses. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of, in the use of the land? So, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of the critical environmental area? I don't think so. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure, mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies? No, possibly in the future, yes, but it's not a major one anyways. Public or private wastewater treatment utilities, that is a no also. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? It did not meet the EPOD for historical preservation, and I don't think we found any grave sites there, so no. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? No. Will proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage? No. Will proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources? No. Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion to either approve or table this issue?
The seeker issue. Just so you know, Chairman, I, as a courtesy, include the resolution to seeker issue right in the primary determination resolution. So it's built into that. So I think you've prepared
You
yourself.
still need to go through this.
I think it's good to go through that, and then in terms of approving what you just went through, that would be done if people want to move forward with the resolution as written.
Anybody like to make a motion to approve the seeker? Thanks. Second.
Well, just, that issue is handled in the underlying resolution to approve the whole project.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does, so, okay. So we are good with this for right now. Would anybody like to make a motion to either table or approve Mr. Bonzo's, subdivision? Do I have a second? Second.
Can I suggest that that motion be made to approve pursuant to the written resolution? Yeah, okay. And can I also suggest that we add the condition we talked about to that written resolution?
Which is adding the water,
Or no?
the note on the water.
You wanna know on the plat, or do you wanna know
Yeah,
somewhere else?
yeah, on the plat.
Okay. So instead of print out more than,
Oh, you already have it all written up.
I mean, this was all done.
Hmm.
You don't have to print out anymore. When she prints the Mylar, that note can just be added to the Mylar, and that's the one that gets filed. We don't have to
Would
print
you-
anymore.
Do you mind sending her an email?
Yep.
So
I'll
I'll
send
read,
her the resolution.
I'll read the proposed note so we can make sure we're all in agreement with it. A note shall be added to the plans on lot number 2 indicating that should lot number 2 and lot number 1 ever cease to be under common ownership, the water supply from lot 1 shall be disconnected. Let me just clarify that. The water supply from lot 1 shall be disconnected from lot number 2, and a separate water supply shall be provided if water supply is needed, unless another arrangement is otherwise permitted by law, rules, or regulations.
Was that an easement?
Right, if there's some other way that it's legally permitted, the note would allow for that. Did we want to put any other condition saying that there needs to be a confirmation about the use of the barn, or are we satisfied? Okay. All right, so there's a motion then on the table to clarify to move the resolution as written and but with the Earl, do you want to amend your motion to
Amended to.
update it with this additional condition?
Correct.
Okay,
All in favor?
and that was a motion to approve it as it was amended, correct? All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Do you need me to stick around?
Unless you want to
Okay,
hang out.
no, I'm good.
I'm going to send you that updated resolution.
Thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome. I'll be in touch with you and Katie.
One is-
Wait, it goes the same. All this means it the planning, because I don't say on, but it all. Yeah, it goes to the same. It's forwarded.
Like the phone, after first one, or- Okay, there it is.
You're good. Nope.
Okay. So our next order of business tonight, this is a motion, but I'm become aware that the code enforcement officer and the planning board secretary have been moving to modernize and digitize a lot of our documentation. I just wanted to say thank you for that, and that the chair, and I'm fairly certain the board also warmly welcomes this action. We're looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Once that is done, I was also looking at the possibility of further modernization and transparency. We want to see if there is anything left to do after what is, I'm sure is going to be a comprehensive review for both of you. But we are looking at, or I would like to, for instance, scan as many of our records as possible and make them a little more searchable on the website if that's not something that you guys are already doing. So I wanted just to have a quick discussion about modernization and transparency for the planning board at large. I think it's been pretty so far. I do know that when I was doing the research ahead of this position, it was very difficult for me to find sorting through PDFs, and I'm some of the Luddite when it comes to this stuff, but I had to download like 60 different documents from the last 5 years, and then OCR all of them, and then search through them. It wasn't the easiest thing to do. And if it's not easy for me, it might not be, it's easy for our residents to do that when they're trying to find precedents and also things of that nature. Does anybody have any thoughts?
It's not a nice.
One of the ways in which we would do that is, you would first see what group report come up. And then, if there was anything left in terms of, we need to put, I know we have to have PDFs for New York State law. But maybe we have a repository on a Google Drive where it's easily searchable in an MS Word style format or something like that, so that we can go in. And it's not 60 different documents, maybe it's one, or maybe it's a searchable database of actions and things like that. That's just, I mean, I'm just spitballing right now at this point, but it was very hard to define a lot of these things.
If you have a Google Drive set up now, were you able to print that?
I don't have access to that, I don't think, but I would love to.
You should have, let me see.
Well, that's super helpful if that already exists, so, and I'm looking at it right now, so. Okay,
Where's the map?
one other thing was, for small actions, I was speaking with, the planning board attorney about this. It seems like, there should be a streamlined process for someone coming in to do a small subdivision of fewer than 4 lots or something like that, or obviously we still have oversight, but maybe they don't need to do every single piece of action that we have historically required to make it easier for residents to use their land in the way that they would like to use it. This would be something that we would come up with and maybe make a recommendation to the town board to amend their code just to make things a little easier. I know that there are a lot of towns that have done this. We obviously want to maintain our rural nature, but we also want to let people do what they want to do with their property to the extent that we can. So that was something that was thinking of also.
Chairman, may I jump on that?
Sure.
Yeah, the chairman and I discussed that a little bit. A good example of it would be this subdivision here where it's just drawn a line on a map. To formally have a minor subdivision procedure right now. Neil, you can speak to this. There's a lot, many towns have a minor and a major subdivision path. And
Referring to essentially administrative subdivisions.
not even that, no, just a minor subdivision where it just goes, straight to final by the books. Instead of having to, navigate through the entire, I don't want to say major subdivision process and implement waivers and things like that. In a lot of towns, you'll have a separate minor subdivision for something that's, less than 4 lots or less, for example, where we don't require you to submit a preliminary plan and things like that. You can just go straight to a final plan.
The only issue I have with that is that the more we get to visit and discuss with the applicants, more information is out. For instance, if we are going right to final, there would be a lot of questions that we haven't had time to, never been able to spend time with the site one to really understand a lot of the issues. Having multiple meetings is actually quite helpful because each meeting, something can get hashed out. That can be missed if we speed things along. And to me, 4 lots is not a minor subdivision. So I guess we have to define minor subdivision.
Right.
What we just saw tonight, I would definitely call that minor, and there would be no reason to have more than one meeting, in my opinion. But if there's, these are buildings that are going to be there, forever. And so I think we need to spend that time and, that's my opinion.
A minor subdivision, would that be?
Is
That
it
wouldn't be,
defined?
that would, yeah, or the exact definition, but, would that be referring? That would only be referring to subdivision type applications, not site plans as well. That has a site plan, no matter what size it would still.
I think it depends. I mean, you can really define it as you want. The state law says you can define major, minor subdivisions, and as it stands, we don't have that distinction. In Mendon's town code,
What would be an example of a town that does, just Pittsburgh have that?
I don't know offhand. Every town's code is different, but I mean, if you just look at a few towns, you'll find one. They have them. Yeah, the major distinction is that in a minor subdivision, you would essentially you would just have one map review. You wouldn't have one map, prove it, and then preliminarily, and then come back another time and approve the final.
I feel like, by having that in place, we've turned over a lot of stones and had a lot of revelations to our benefit and to the applicant's benefit. Seems like, I agree with Teresa that it expands on the familiarization of everything, and I think certain things come out second time around that didn't come out initially.
Yeah, just by way of example, tonight, you didn't do 2 times around. Right? This is it. This would be a perfect example of what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where's the delineation? Oh, is that something that is just a subdivision and doesn't involve a building site?
Yeah, that's what we're suggesting be explored.
But we have the option to do it or not do it currently. So why would we have to, you know, define it, I guess? If we have the ability to choose to do that now, why change it?
If we're going to put it forth, I think we probably need to change parts of the number. And that would be,
I just don't see the reason for it, I guess. I don't.
the reason, to make it easier for residents in general, to streamline processes for them.
I see what it feels like having more of a discussion would make the benefit the owners as well and the developers.
I agree.
What was tonight's process that we ended up in?
So tonight, the resolution that the board moved has waivers in it, waiving the because there's no development, and only subdivision, we waived additional maps, sketch map, et cetera, required by the resolution, otherwise. And then the board approved preliminary and final in one step. But I think, I think that there's probably a smoother procedural way to do that. If you want to operate in that way, the sort of the more clear way to do it would just be to have a minor subdivision procedure instead of waiving things and approving multiple things at once. You put this into the minor subdivision pot, and then we're not waiving and approving multiple things at the same time.
Who's gonna make the decision whether it's major or minor?
Exactly.
It'll be defined by code.
Who writes the code for it? And would the planning board have input?
The town board is the legislature for the town of Mendon, so they would get the final say, just like the rest of the code.
That's my point, though. It was rhetorical. It
Yeah.
would be nice if the planning board would have input, since we would be the ones that working with them.
Right, I think that's what the chair's
That's
asking
what I was
for,
asking.
yeah.
Right.
Well, just something, not immediate, just something.
Yeah.
In your minds.
Every applicant that comes in with an engineer. It's number one, they got an approval as fast as we can.
Oh, yeah.
Do what is. These expensive to anyone. Be here and gone. Not that they would. Well, I've been dealing with them a long time. You have to be protected. I think you can't take a lot of these and move them into a single thing, because they're gonna walk all over you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So any other comment on that? I think we had a note on, the AT&T, special use permit amendment. Do we need to, we don't need to read that into the record, but do we note that it is going into the record? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think you can just acknowledge the code enforcement officer's correspondence and ask that it be entered into the file.
I would like the code enforcement officer's correspondence to be entered into the AT&T special use permit, file, please. And do we have any other business? to discuss?
One clarification,
Yes.
the motion that was moved to approve the subdivision tonight references the date of the map is highlighted because just for this specific scenario, so we got an updated map. The board approved it pursuant to the updated map, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Amelia, this is what we wanted, right?
Yeah, I don't have.
Okay, so Brooke, right now that date is highlighted,
There's been three
in the
You want me-
resolution,
Okay,
but I think this is the right date.
correct.
So right now, it's like it says January and it's highlighted.
So you want me to change that?
As long as the board,
Okay,
that's the board's intent. I
okay.
think it seems like it is. So it's the board's intent to approve this map from March 13th, 2026, right?
That's correct.
Can we just have a motion to reflect that so she can update it?
Would someone like to make a motion to reflect that? Do we have a second? Vote please, all in favor? Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, we're good. I'm looking at it. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure the date was changed.
All in favor?
So is the new approval, is Charlie the new first in that motion? Or is in the minutes, does it have to reflect all these amendments?
I think you're just, the minutes would reflect that the board clarified that the date of the map that was approved was March 13th, 2026.
Okay,
Well, public comment.
It's
Yeah.
not typically, not at the planning board meeting, there hasn't been, right? Unless I'm
it's a public
Mistaken.
hearing, but
public hearings.
they're usually,
Yes.
I mean, sometimes we would open it up to the public at the end, but no.
Maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, we can call a comment if you like. Are we, do we make a motion for that or vote on that?
I don't, let me ask the board members. Have we done public comment here before, outside of public hearings?
I feel like,
I feel
Just
like the
letting
public
people,
comment
I
or
feel
public
like
hearings
we're
left
supposed to
open.
say public at the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
Am I remembering wrong?
I think should always ask the public if there was, I don't know.
We can do that, for sure. Okay. Does anybody from the public have anything they'd like to say, public comment?
Oh, I do.
Yes.
So I just want to comment on a couple of the things you talked about during the event. So the digital records that you're talking about, so we got a grant for almost 75,000 for the whole entire town's records to be scanned in and become available as you see them. So that will all be done. It just takes time.
I know.
So we're doing them in series, so like the first 100 boxes of records is going out next Thursday to be scanned. And then we have to apply for the grant again next year, and then we'll do another 100 boxes or however that is. So essentially, that's what we will get to. So don't worry about it, we will have those all nice, because I can't wait for them. As far as the more than one subdivision, I mean, we have administrative subdivision already, so I don't know why we would need to have 2, 3, 4 lots into an easy slide through. I mean, I feel like the town would want to oversee some of the stuff that. And then, I think that's all my comments.
Does anybody else have any public comment? Yes, sir.
I would agree with that, I think that, you don't seem to be overwhelmed with applications, you know what I mean, and that's pretty much. So I'm not sure that, the oversight of the complete board in any application is bad. It's probably better. Everybody can take the time that you want with it. And, not just be blindsided of 10 minutes before the meeting. I agree.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Do we have any other business to discuss tonight?
There is no pending applications. Don mentioned something, maybe perhaps on April 1st, since we don't have a meeting, it'll be canceled. That maybe he'll host another online training if anyone would like to join that.
or it could be for the second meeting again.
Or be a second meeting of April. So he was gonna touch base, maybe a topic for the training session. And we can see who's interested and who's not.
So, thank you.
Mhm.
May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Do I have a second? All in favor?